PhD student from Iowa State University in Material Science and Engineering. I have been doing my research. So my field of expertise, if you say, is nanomechanics, which includes all the small scale testing techniques like nano indentation, in situ micropillar compression, microtensile testing. Also, I'm a trained microscopist with the experience and expertise in optical microscopy, scanning electron microscopy, a few sessions of experience in transmission electron microscopy also. And I have done lots of material characterization also using EDS, X-ray diffraction, and electron backscatter diffraction techniques as well. Um, for my PhD, I am working on understanding the structure property relationship of a very unique enamel which was possessed by a hadrosaurid dinosaur. So it's a very unique enamel which has a very simplified structure but has very robust fracture resistance and damage tolerant properties. So we are trying to understand its built from the very building block up to the whole ensemble. And based on our understanding, our future plan is to build materials, bio-inspired materials,
Right.
based on our understanding. So that's what my introduction is. And my questions are generally that I am soon planning to graduate, probably by this December 2021. And I want to go into the industry for after my PhD. So any research and development position or application scientist positions in the industry. And my biggest question or rather concern is that I have started applying to the jobs starting January, and yeah, and I think I have applied to almost, I would say that 25 places till now, but I haven't gotten any positive response till now. Even for some positions where it was the exact match of what my skill set is versus what the job description was, but still somehow I, it never turned into even an interview opportunity also.
Okay.
So
Okay. So and I mean, I'm looking at your CV right now, and I mean your CV. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what is that?
No, I said go ahead. Well, you were saying something.
No.
Okay. No, I'm saying I'm looking at your CV, and looking at it, it's a pretty good CV. It's not like I don't see any issues with your CV, to be honest.
Okay.
Let me tell you my experience of applying job and how I was able to move around it and was able to be here. I don't know whether you looked at my LinkedIn profile or something. It has pretty much the description of where I was and where I am. But after PhD, when I graduated, and I think that happens with most of the PhD students, I would say. I was in the same boat as you, to be honest. I didn't have any luck to got any job interviews except one with Exxon that was not even translated into a position. Not that I was interested in looking for industry position, but that was the reality. And I was more interested at the time going to academics. So I eventually went to a postdoc, doing a postdoc, and then I went to work for Oak Ridge, and then basically things moved around. My advice here is very simple, and also let me tell you. So it's been my 10th years, or 10 year of my professional career since I graduated, right? And in this 10 year, there were 2 times in my career where I either lost a job or the whole group was shut down, and I had to find a job again. right? So how I dealt with that scenario, because you are again back to square one and then looking for a job, right? And then at that time, nobody hires you for an entry level position, and this is very common in an industry.
Okay.
Like this is very common, these days. Either COVID can come, or a housing market crashes, or a big financial crisis, or who knows what, right? And
Yes.
this, I would say, number one thing is, um, on average, I will tell you a statistics. When I applied for 2025 jobs, right?
Yeah.
I would say, out of those 2025 jobs, and those are the jobs which I felt that they are very close to what I have done.
Yes.
Maybe I got one interview, maybe. So I think what you are saying is not very different than what I or my friends were. I have seen with my friends also, especially in the core sector. We are not talking about computer science and engineering. That's a different type of, that they work in a different way. So core sector, this is very, very common.
Okay.
More so right now, when due to COVID, you can imagine a lot of people are out of job. There are a lot of people. Actually, there's a backlog from last year, and I have spoken to a lot of students, even from last year, who haven't been able to find a job. So I would say the things I would things will be twice as difficult as if there was no COVID, or maybe more. My advice to you is would be is, I think what you're doing is pretty much right. Keep applying. I don't see anything wrong with your CV, but make sure when you write a cover letter, I don't know, people write paragraphs or something. I don't never had a good luck, so I make sure that I write things in bullet points. Like for
Yeah.
example,
Okay.
um, one thing I also tell you, and I say this many times on my videos when I talk to students, is your CV should be, so for example, if you go to LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you go to look for a job, you find the job and you feel that this job is good for you. See what the preferred and required qualification is, how much you complete, how much your CV reflects that. So let's say, for example, it says, do you have experience with Six Sigma? And your CV doesn't say anything. That's a no. If they say, do you have experience with running a scan electron microscope? Your CV says yes. That's a yes. So my point here is, most of the time you will realize that your skill set versus what is in the required or preferred qualification, it has to like 100% match most of the time.
Okay.
The way and that's one thing. Second thing I will also tell you, uh, being at the core sector, um, you have to deal with this visa issue also, which is which becomes very difficult. Not as much as with people who have, degrees in computer science and so forth, because most of these will demand you, either you should have a green card, they don't sponsor a visa, or you should have a citizenship. And I have dealt that too. My current job, the only reason I got it, one of the biggest reason I got it, is because I had a citizenship. Otherwise there is no way I can get it. I don't know any international student, since I have joined Lockheed. I don't know anyone, to be honest with you, who came from on F1 visa and joined Lockheed. I don't know anyone so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think that's the problem with most of the companies. So
yeah,
I
right.
can
So
experience.
I can tell you the answer, like how to deal with it, because
Yeah.
I can see that 10 years down the road, I was in your position. That dilemma what you are having right now, I was exactly in the same position, right?
Okay.
See, one of the things you have to understand in US is, um, um, and especially as a PhD, you don't want to do any job too. Like you don't want to do floor job. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So how you deal with your interest and having a job and so forth. I would say, number one, keep applying for jobs as much as you can. See if it turns out right. Do your best as you can. Make sure that the what is ever mentioned is there. Your CV says yet like you have it or you possess. That's number one. Number two, you should also have a plan B. Like, if it doesn't work out, what I'm going to do? What is that plan B? So my plan B was join a postdoc. Actually, that was my plan A, but plan B was if I can get a job. But your plan B could be I can join a postdoc. And the reason I say that is because a postdoc gives you a 2 year or 3 year time where you can think,
Yes.
you can sit down, because what happens in PhD, you're so much into your finishing your thesis and frustration and rush. I don't want you to rush into a job which you regret, but because once you go there, there is no coming back.
Yes.
So postdoc gives you that, unless until you find a job or find a company which you like, unless and until. But if you don't, I would say doing a postdoc from a good place,
Yes.
from a better university, not from the other way around. But let's say at MIT's or whatever you feel like is a good university, go there, and that gives you a breathing room. You know what I mean? That gives you a breathing room to think what I want to do now.
Mhm.
And because what the reason I say so is because number one, you will get paid, so that financial burden gets out. That's number one. Number two, you get, as I said, the breathing room to say, okay, now I can relax and think. I have time. I don't have to worry about finishing my thesis and rushing off and visa and all that, right? And
Yes.
then your OPT, which is good for 3 years, you don't have to worry about getting an H1. That is still is valid. And if let's say you join a postdoc, my advice is don't get a visa, because let's say after 6 months, after a year, you get a job, you can go join that job anytime you want based on your OPT. But if you get a visa, then you have to wait for that October cycle.
Okay.
So don't do that mistake, because what happens is, and I can tell you that from my experiences, what happens is, because job can come anytime, right?
Yes.
So let's say if there is a job in May, and because your visa then won't allow, because you have to file for H1 in April and then start in October, but that guy need you now. That OPT will allow you to join anytime.
Okay.
So use your OPT as much as you can. And the
Okay.
other reason is because with OPT you get less tax as a student also, so you save some money. That's other incentive. So don't rush into getting into H1 or something, because one thing also, I'm not sure if you know that H1 that you get when you work for a research institution like government lab or university is different than H1 from industry. That H1 you can get anytime, but once you are in H1, then you need an industry H1 to move to industry, and that has a cycle, and that also has a quota,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So don't make that mistake. Try to use an OPT, because OPT gives you flexibility. Let's say after 6 months you didn't like your postdoc and you find another job, you can move,
Yes.
right? So have that, I would say, have that breathing room, because who knows, let's say for example, if you get a postdoc at Stanford in a good place, who knows, you might enjoy it, because that's the whole idea too, and that gives you another different perspective. Or then you are like, oh, I'm glad I didn't do it. And maybe you are exposed to a new type of research. So for example, my work was on PhD was on thermomechanical properties of magnesium alloys with General Motors. That 2009, if you remember, that housing market collapsed and every automotive company was bailed out by Obama. There was no
Yes.
jobs, and then I started working at Johns Hopkins as my postdoc, and I was exposed to a totally new area.
Okay.
And because of that, I was then able to find a job at Oak Ridge. Because of that Oak Ridge, then I was got hired, because that Oak Ridge I got my green card, and that I got hired at Rolls Royce, and then my life moved on. So what I'm saying, that's how things works out. It's not like things are not going to work out for you. Things going to work out, but you have to somehow keep some patience and allow your time. And I would say, what if I would have joined any job ABC when I was after my PhD? I'm pretty sure I would not at this place where I am, which I'm very proud of. So as I said, you have to have that type of patience and that type of thought process. Yeah,
Okay.
one thing that will hamper you quite a lot is your personal decisions. That we I can't say much about it, because that will totally depend on you, because many people think your career driven by your professional choices. No, it's driven by your personal choices. You will get married, you will have kids. That's going to drive many other things, which are another constraint. But more or less professional career, that's how it's going to go. So
Okay.
I think you will be fine. you will be fine, and I don't think that you are going through a very unique situation. Only the time is unique because of COVID. But as I said, having a postdoc will most likely can help you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I was very sure that I'd want to go into industry. So I haven't even started looking at postdocs or even
Yeah,
talk to
but you
people.
I think you have time. But
Yeah.
one thing I will tell you, if you're gonna start looking for a postdoc, I would say rather than you applying, ask your advisor, because postdocs, postdocs are more or less like, hey, I need someone.
Yes.
They are very much driven by personal contacts. That's how it happens.
Yes.
Not in my case. My case was different. But what I'm saying is you can apply also, like
Um.
randomly give a cold email to any person saying that, hey, I'm a professor, I need a whatever postdoc, do you have it, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is, if your professor knows someone, and try to make sure that your postdoc is not in the same area.
Okay.
Also, it has to, like, you where postdoc would be, should be like something like 50% you can contribute, 50% you have to learn. It's not, should not be like, and he did postdoc too.
He did postdoc. Okay. Yeah.
Because that's a story of F1 student. You have to work out, and you may be lucky. As I said, try your best to look for a job. You're doing the right thing, applying. That's a, maybe someone will pick it up, and you might be lucky, because there are many good students out there. So there's,
Right.
and from all over university. But I will tell you also that postdoc is not a bad thing. Now I look back at, I think it was the right thing to do, because I had a lot of fun doing my postdoc, because it gave me such a breathing room. And that was the time also I got married too, because I then have to time to relax and look out for, thinking about my personal life too. So that's what I'm saying, is like there is no rush at that period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, I never considered doing postdoc because I was like, I've done PhD. I came directly from my bachelor's to my PhD and didn't have too much experience working in industry, and I always wanted to go in
No, no,
industry.
that's fine. I mean, I never worked. I mean, I did my bachelor's and PhD right away. I mean, whole through 10 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
same
So
here.
2004, I graduated. I completed my PhD 2009, all the way. So it was
Yes.
like, I never worked. I did internship at 1 month, but I hated that.
Okay.
Yeah, but as you said, so that's what I'm saying, that you might be a different kind of material for working in an industry for their R&D position, who works closely. Like, I used to work for Rolls Royce, but I never worked on with manufacturing. I mostly worked on
And
working with Department of Energy and the proposals. It's still, I do the same thing. So I that's become your work style, because that's what you are used to, right? So if you're not used to that product line work or things like that, it's not, it's a little tricky. And
yeah,
they also say that PhD does one thing, that it kills your engineer. So we are not an engineer anymore. So you have to be very careful. Sometimes we don't know what we um, what we can do, or what.
yeah,
So
that's true. That's it. So I have one question regarding these applying to jobs and connecting to people on LinkedIn. So is it okay that I'm reaching out to multiple people from the same company? And should I target just the HR and the talent acquisition managers, or everyone, I mean anyone, if I can find a mutual connection or something like that?
my experience is, it doesn't help
It doesn't help.
unless and until you know someone. I mean, I can tell you, um, this is 2 years back when I was applying for a job. The only places there are few places I got interviews, but the only place, either I got an interview because I applied that as other people's apply on LinkedIn, right, or Indeed. Like, you see a position, you apply, and you receive a call. The
Yes.
only person I was interviewed is because I knew that person very well. So I said, "Hey, do you have an opening?" He said, "Yes." And so I emailing people, um, I'm not sure it helps, because to be honest with you, this is a very simple thing that everybody does.
Yes.
It's very easy to email people and ping on LinkedIn and things like that. So I'm not sure. I won't discourage also that don't do that. If you feel like, do it, but in my opinion it doesn't help. Don't put too much time and feelings on like a somebody. I'm going to email someone and I'm going to get help. It most likely doesn't pan out, because as I said, everybody does that,
Okay.
unless until you know someone through someone and they are looking for a position that.
Okay.
But I will also aware you is, if you're applying for a postdoc, you have to probably go through the same type of process. It's not that easy to. So make sure that you have a you know uh, that person, or your professor is on board, and he's trying to help, he or she is trying to help you.
Okay. Okay. Mm. Okay. So this was very helpful, Amit. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
I've been I was feeling very lost, kind of lost, because like, I'm applying so much, not getting anything. There's something inherently wrong that I'm doing.
I don't think I think as I said, it's not just my experience, because I talk to so many students now. What you are going through, everybody is. I don't see anything like any red flag in your case. It's very normal
Okay.
for you to go through, and I would say just focus on finishing your thesis draft, and then uh, I think plan A, plan B should be good.
Okay.
Because once you are on your OPT, once you graduate and are in your OPT, then your uh, clock starts ticking, right? And then you will be like, what should I do? And this is also most frustrating time for anybody, for any student, because there is no security net that's
No,
covered. So
no
it's not a it's very intimidating. I can tell you that, because I
signal.
felt the same thing, and I can see you're feeling the same way.
Yes.
So it's pretty normal. What
Okay.
you're going through is very normal, and things gonna work out. Only thing you have to do is put your hard work and put your faith, and keep applying, and make sure don't make any stupid mistakes. Because I will tell you a story. There was a one person I spoke. He's in
Okay.
India right now,
Okay.
and he did his PhD from Colorado Boulder,
Okay.
and he was saying that I didn't find a job and I have to come to India. Now I'm stuck here. What should I do? I said, I don't know what you can do now.
Oh wow.
And I said, why the hell did you waited so long that your OPT got expired? He thought that he will get a job. And I said, why didn't you apply for a postdoc? He said, I never thought that I won't be able to find a job, and I'm now stuck here in India. How can I get back to US? I said, how do I know? Because once you get a degree, you're back in India. You're pretty much
Yeah.
on the same boat. What are you gonna do now?
Done.
You're done. In you're done in the sense is because he never planned anything else. So now in India, he has to compete with people who got their PhD from IITs or someone, and finding a job in any IIT, forget IIT, even in NITs is not that easy.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not like they're gonna say, "Hey, you are from Colorado, Boulder, get a job." No, it doesn't work that way. So he's like, "What should I do now?" So he's probably doing some freelancing now, writing something. So I know very horrible stories. So I that's why I tell you that if you don't plan A and B,
Yes.
it's very important. You may not choose it, but you should have a backup,
Have a plan B.
because it's not like you're gonna have backup. Oh, only 1 month left. Now should I have plan now? Plan it now.
Yeah.
And as I said, life is always about your career is always about what choices you have. Like, should I join a postdoc? Should I join? So let's say if I have if you have an offer for a postdoc from Stanford versus offer from a company which nobody knows, and you probably doing some flooring job, what are you going to choose, right? So don't say that I don't choose a postdoc, because it depends on what you get.
Yes.
So it's always depend on the utility, like what satisfies you, and so it's not like I don't want to do a postdoc. Hey, what about from MIT? I said yes, I want to do it. So it's not about doing a postdoc. It's like, where do you get it, what you are doing.
Yes. That's true. Yeah.
and things will be fine. But as I said, don't waste your time if it says we don't sponsor a visa or something. Don't waste your time. But
Okay.
one thing I also tell you with the postdoc, I forgot to mention that with the postdoc also that happens is then you can apply for your green card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because I got it that way, and then now the jobs are open, and I moved.
Yeah.
So that postdoc allows you to do that too.
Oh, so it's like, do you get like accelerated
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
approval or
yeah, yeah.
okay,
Because if your CV is good, and if you're a PhD already, so you don't go through EB2 category. It's called EB1A,
okay,
and
yes,
pretty much you apply on your own
okay,
because postdoc university don't apply. So you apply on your own. So you get a lawyer, pay him, and everything is fine. And 1 or 2 year, you can get your green card.
oh wow,
And that's the only way. Only PhDs can do it, not a master's.
not fast.
So that's what I'm saying. That breathing room. That's what I was talking about.
Okay,
Let's say. So what that's what I'm saying. Like I'm posing you a best scenario. Let's say if you get postdoc as in one of the very good labs in a good university, uh, it definitely boosts your morale. And not only that, then you can be able to get your green card and then move on, right?
yes,
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There are many ways things happen, and that's how things happen to me. And,
okay,
and actually, not only me, many of my friends actually I know who are PhDs. And because
mm,
what happens is once you get a green card, like I know myself, I'm here. One of my friend I told you about, my roommate, he works for a polymer company now. One of my junior, he was a postdoc at Oak Ridge, and he was in the same boat, and he was applying for. He was writing papers. He said, "What are you doing? Just apply for a green card." And he did, and I think that was his best decision because he would have gone to India. Now he's a professor at Oklahoma State. So what I'm saying is things work out, and that's the only way things work out.
okay,
So for you, or for anyone, I would say not many people think that way. But I don't want you to learn from mistakes because then you lose time. I'm telling you the right way, the recipe, and I have, as I said,
yes,
these are the examples I have. And as
okay,
I said, I'm not saying that don't apply for job. Keep applying, but this is the other route. This could be other one too.
okay,
Because when you apply for a job, and if you get a job in a good company, then also you can get a.
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is you may have to compromise with the job then, like what type of job.
What type?
Yeah,
That's
right.
um,
But in this way, you don't have to. It's like, okay, now I don't have to worry about my visa. Nobody can kick me out because I lost. I told you, like I lost my job 2 times. If I was in visa, I would have been back.
yes, that's true.
That didn't happen to me. So I had a time. I was relaxed. I said, okay, I'm not going to rush in. I'm going to find what I want.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So that's how life works here.
Yeah, it's you always have that fear of what will happen if something,
And
even one
that's what
thing
I'm
goes
saying. As a
wrong.
PhD, you don't have to worry about that. For masters, that fear always goes on.
Okay,
For
yeah,
masters, they don't have a choice.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I
Okay.
hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps a lot actually. I was actually not thinking at all about the postdocs right now. It's like I don't want to go into it, but this is a pretty good reason also.
Yeah, as I said, that's you have to somehow work around.
Yes.
I have to get another call actually, but it was nice talking to you, and
Oh,
keep in
same here.
touch. Okay.
Same here. Yeah. Thank you so much, Samir.
Yeah. Likewise.
Okay. Bye bye.